All right, here we go.
Okay. So, we had a request to start out prune today. So we're going to start out with block at the top of the mat. Red ball. Orange bolster. Lots of toys to start. Put your strap and your purple balls about mid-mat. Okay. We are going to circle the arms around from the top to the side, so you don't want anything up too high. And then sit down on your mat in front of your bolster. If you're doing this at home, you could use pillows or something for under your legs. The bolster is nice and firm. And your little Walmart ball. Put it under your upper back. Don't lay back yet, but try to put your block where you kind of think your head will end up. So it'll be maybe 6 to 8 inches behind where your ball is. And then to line yourself up, start out by leaning back on your ball and put it right between your shoulder blades, arms up, and then pull your shoulder blades down, and you should feel the bottom tips of the shoulder blades squeezing the top of the ball a little bit. And not just right on top, but more like your shoulders are falling down the top slope of the ball. Once you find that, you can just rest your head on your block. Okay. And then from there, just bring your arms straight up to the sides and start your breath for a couple breaths. If you feel like your low back is getting a little squished, you can pick up your tailbone and bring it under you more. Okay. Long, soft inhalation. And then exhale. Just as soft. Try to feel your ribs very softly come into the back of the body. Okay, let's also, once you got the tailbone under a little bit, pull your orange bolster up to your legs. And then you can either leave the knees tented and a little soft pressure like you're going to slide the mat forward. Will help you keep your low belly drawn and your tailbone under a little bit so you've got a concave low belly. Or if you feel like you've got that just with the muscles, you can just let your legs drop over your orange bolster. Okay. All right, one more breath here. And exhale. Bring the arms straight up to the ceiling. Let your shoulders drop down into the shoulder girdle toward the floor. Feel the ball pressing the ribs up toward the ceiling. Block pressing your head up. Let the ribs open and let your shoulder blades fall down in that space between the red ball and the block. Inhale here. Hold that air in, let the ribs expand, and then drop your arms back. You can do this with a block under your upper back if you want. The ball is just more comfortable. Exhale. Keep the thumb side of the hand facing the ground, not because of the wrist rotation, but because of the shoulder rotation. The inner shoulder, the collarbone is rolling back. Inhale, feel the ribs. As you exhale, don't close your ribs. Just think of lifting and tucking your low belly a little. You can roll the legs in toward each other to feel that a little bit more. And then draw your arms up, keeping them low in the shoulder girdle. Feel your upper back muscles pulling shoulder blades into the ball. And then exhale at the top, let your legs roll back out. Good. You can take the purple ball. We'll turn on the legs a little bit with the purple ball. Take one purple ball, put it between the groin muscles and squeeze very softly in on it. And then your other purple ball, you're going to hold in the hands. Put the purple ball on the base of the hand, thumb knuckle, pushing into the ball with thumbs extended. That's going to help engage your chest. We're actually going to try to use effects for a minute. I want you to push the ball up, sliding the shoulder blades up the sides of the ribs, using the muscles underneath the shoulder blades, the serratus. Inhale. And then as you exhale, squeeze in on your ball a little bit and squeeze the thumb side of the hand into the ball until you feel a little bit of your pecs turning on. Lift your chin just enough to open the throat. And then drop the shoulders back down, release that. Chin down, neck long, ribs open, inhale. Exhale, squeeze thumb side of the hand into the ball. Slide the shoulder blades up. Start dropping ribs in softly as you exhale. Chin lifts just enough to let shoulders get free. And drop shoulders back down, inhale. Exhale, slide the shoulder blades up. Ribs start drawing in, especially toward the end of the breath. Drop it back down, inhale, ribs open. This time roll in on the legs. Inner spiraling leg squeeze in on your ball, but don't let your toes tickle. Keep the toes flared, open. Pinky side of the foot wide. Inhale down here. Exhale, reach the shoulders up. Squeeze in on your ball, thumb side of the hand squeezes. Roll the legs in, feel that helps you engage your low belly in the transverse abdominals. And drop the arms forward, keeping that shape. Feel how easy it is to bring the head up. Arms drop forward, good. Reach the shoulder blades forward, suck your low belly back, suck your ribs back. And inhale here. Exhale for as long as you can, closing the ribs and keep sliding shoulder blades forward as ribs pull back, opposition. So it's not gym abs where the belly pops up and you're trying to crunch the pubic bone towards you. Keep the toes reaching. One more breath here. As you exhale, suck ribs back, low belly back, hands forward. Drop pubic bone forward. Notice if you are tucking. You don't need to tuck to squeeze your ball, just inner spiral. And feel like you're pulling the groin muscles into your pelvic floor, into your low belly. Inhaling again. Pull shoulder blades back, and then exhale, slide them forward. So you're stabilizing ribs with core muscles, sliding shoulder blades back, muscles in upper back and shoulders, and then slide forward, pulling ribs back, closing ribs. 2 more. Inhale, bring the shoulders back. Let the ribs open a little. Exhale, slide them forward, roll in on your ball, but think pubic bone forward. Good, and then let the legs go. Bring the arms slightly up, dropping the head back towards your block. Let your shoulders drop down into the shoulder girdle. Just resting at this point. You can lift the tailbone up and bring it a little further under you, especially if you feel low back. Drop the arms back, keeping the shoulder blades low in the shoulder girdle. So you're letting the shoulders drop, then drop the arms back. Feel how the block lengthens the neck. Keep chin down. Try to keep your block toward the base of the skull. Right where the skull meets the neck. Inhale, ribs open. Exhale, roll in on your ball without tucking. Don't lift the buttocks off the floor. Feel low belly and drag the ball back up. Exhale. One more like that. Keep shoulders down in the shoulder girdle. Inhale as you drop the ball back. Let your ribs open. Feel low belly start to lift out of pelvic floor. Inner spiral on your ball. And then drag it back up, holding the air. And then exhale at the top. Good. Let's get rid of the ball for the moment. Bring the arms straight up. Drop them back with the thumb side of the hand facing the behind you, the back wall. When you rotate through the shoulders to make that happen. Then drop into shoulder girdle, drop the arms back, chin down. The further the arms drop behind the head, the bigger the stretch. Try not to arch your low back. Keep your low belly just a little engaged. Inhale. Bring the arms out to the sides, palms facing the ceiling. Bend the elbows, pull them in towards you so that your whole forearm is flush on the mat. One straight line from hand to hand. Inhale here, letting the shoulders drop back, ribs open. And then as you exhale, roll your shoulder heads forward, chin lifts a little bit, feel your ribs start to close in. Drop the shoulders back, chin down, ribs will open, inhale. Roll your shoulder heads forward, chin comes up, exhale. Do it again, roll the shoulder heads back, chin down, neck long, inhale, ribs will open. And then as you exhale, roll your shoulder heads forward, chin up just enough to let that collarbone roll forward, ribs close. Keep your feet, take a seat, that spot right here. Okay, keep that going. Let shoulders drop back between that space between the ball and the block. Chin down to make neck long. Inhale, ribs open. As you exhale, shoulder heads roll forward, which helps drop ribs in. Lift chin just enough to let the collarbone roll forward there. Okay, let's do 2 more like that. Inhale, dropping shoulders back. Let the ribs open, chin down. And then exhale, shoulders roll forward, chin lifts just enough. Ribs start closing, especially toward the end of the breath. Okay. You're okay, no worries. All right, and here we go. Let's do the same breath. Inhale, letting shoulders drop back, ribs open. Hold that air in, and keep the ribs open. Slide your hands up the mat. Keep them against the floor. Maybe extend them out a little bit first. Your arms are a little straighter. Keep chin down. When you feel a pretty big stretch in the front of the shoulders, just hold. Exhale. Stay in that stretch. Inhale again. And exhale. Then you're going to try to feel the rolling of the shoulder blade along serratus under the armpit and feel where the collarbone is. Bring the arms the rest of the way together. Elbows end up facing the ceiling and feel the shoulder roll heavy through the shoulder joint. Inhale, ribs open. Exhale, spread the hands back to where they were, out to the sides, and feel the shoulder heads can roll forward pretty easy as you exhale. We're going to keep this full range of motion for 3 more. Hands slide up, shoulders drop back, inhale. Roll all the way through till the palms face in, ribs open. And then exhale, arms slide out, shoulder heads roll forward. Pull the ribs in a little deeper this time, fill up your back into the ball. Inhale, arms sliding up, chin down. Thumb side of the hand facing the floor because inner shoulder rolls back, collarbone rolls back. And then exhale, hands out, shoulders forward, chin up. Do it again, slide the arms back, chin down, neck long, ribs open, inhale. Keep your low belly. And roll arms out to the side, shoulder heads roll forward, chin lifts a little. As you exhale, roll in on your ball. 2 more like that. Bring the arms out to the side, shoulder heads roll back, chin down, ribs open, inhale. As you exhale, arms sliding the hands on the mat, shoulder heads roll forward, chin up, roll in on your ball now, engage low belly. Arms go out to the side, start coming back up, chin down, inhale. And exhale, sliding the hands out, shoulder heads roll forward, roll legs in on your ball, spread and flare your toes. Good, let the legs go. Bring the arms back up, palms facing in. Drag the arms up, this time roll in on legs, low belly drawing, arms come up. Let's get rid of your block, move it out from under the head to the side. Hands under your head. Roll your chin into your chest and come forward. Notice if you're tucking, if your pubic bone comes forward, it's pushing you back. You're getting gym abs and everything's engaged, and you can't suck down. Release the glutes, release the hips. Shoulder blades slide forward, ribs suck back. Roll in on your purple ball, then spread your toes, reach your feet, don't lift your glutes. Inhale here. Exhale, suck low belly back, reach the elbows and shoulder blades forward. You're hollowing through the core. 1 more. Stay like that, but now soften the lower body. Feel ribs pull deeper. Good. Bring the knees in. Keep your purple ball if you can. Put your feet on the arc of your bolster. Push it a little bit away from you. And then you're going to lift the hips and slide forward on your red ball. On your ball on your back. Let's get rid of the purple ball for the moment and get back when you need it. Push your bolster far enough forward so you can slide until the ball is pretty high up on the upper back. Now your shoulder blades are on the downward slope of the ball, and the ball is tipping you forward. Good. Okay. Your bolster has to be far enough forward so that your hips are free to move. If your bolster is really close to you here, it's really hard to drop the hips forward because that's a bigger stretch. It creates a bigger angle here. It's a big stretch in the hamstrings. So bolster far enough forward so you feel really free in the hips. Okay, we're going to play with that rolling feeling through the pelvic bowl. Pelvic bowl at the top of the pelvis is going to drop toward the ground, not because you're squeezing the glutes and pushing the pubic bone forward. Pull down with the middle abs, the transverse abdominals, the muscles that run deep inside the core. Try to think of folding yourself in half between the floating ribs and the pelvic bowl. Hands are still behind the head to support the neck. Shoulder blades are sliding a little forward off your ball as you suck your transverse abdominals out. And then just let that go. The only thing that should move is your hips. Suck those middle abs down. Trying to put your low back into the mat. It's not a glute squeeze. Abs not popping up. Let it go. Do it again. A little pressure in feet will help you. Suck the middle abs down. Keep weight in your red ball. And then let it go. 2 more. Just making sure hips are free. Suck those middle abs down. And then let it go. Last one. Suck middle abs down. No glute squeeze. Think heels in, toes out with your feet. Just a little asymmetric. And then let that go all the way forward. Keeping your pubic bone forward. Elbows in, lay back over your red ball. Let your ribs open. Elbows should be in your peripheral vision. Not totally wide. That closes the shoulder blades. Not squeezing. That's too much chest. And then when you come up, you're going to pull on the head with your hands. Just bringing the head up. Chin dropping in, neck back and heavy. Heavy in your red ball. Ribs stay open. Once you're most of the way up, then ribs will start dropping and keeping pubic bone forward. So no big tuck. Once you're up, then middle abs can draw the middle back down. And then let it drop back forward with pubic bone. So spine is long, core is long. Drop back. Think of your shoulder blades coming down into the ball and your ribs opening up and over that. Drop the head back. Hands pull on the head. The muscles underneath shoulder blades are pulling them down the body, shoulders away from the ears, and into red ball to bring the head up. Almost like a crowbar. Shoulder blades get stuck into the ball. Use that as leverage to come up and over. Then ribs drop in without pubic bone coming to face. Then separately, middle abs draw the pubic bone to face. Then drop hips back forward. Shoulder blades come together on the ball. Ribs open up and over where the shoulder blades are touching the ball. Last one here, add the breath, inhale. As you come forward, bring the head first, exhale and just passively. And then once the head is up, then exhale a little harder, drawing ribs in. Then middle abs, roll in. Good, let's add your purple ball here for one. Ball between the legs, pretty high up in the groin. Think of not just squeezing the ball as hard as you can, but think of your inner thighs spiraling in and forward to keep pubic bone forward even as you're squeezing in. If you keep that little pubic bone forward while the low belly draws, it keeps your lumbar spine lengthened, but you still have the low belly. So breathe. Inhale here. Exhale, keep pubic bone forward, but still squeezing in on your ball, inner spiraling. Now draw those middle abs that you've engaged in and down toward the mat, bringing middle back to the mat. No squeezing glutes, and then drop the pubic bone back forward, still squeezing your ball. So as pubic bone goes forward, don't stop squeezing your ball. That's what's going to keep you out of your low back. Do it again. Middle abs draw. You'll feel like it's really easy to squeeze your ball that way when the pubic bone comes to you. Then drop pubic bone forward. Keep squeezing your ball. Keep those middle abs. That's the hard part. It's training you to keep your middle abs strong. One more. Low belly, middle abs. That middle part between the pelvic bowl and the ribs squeezing. That's easy to squeeze on your ball. Get your glutes out of it. A little pressure and feet will help. Then drop pubic bone back forward. Don't lose the middle abs. Don't lose the middle abs. Good. Now lift and spread your toes out, but keep the ball of the foot on the bolster. Ball of the foot stays down. Same thing. Middle abs draw. A little squeeze on your purple ball. Don't squeeze your glutes. Drop the pubic bone back forward. Middle abs stay. Middle abs stay. That's the hard part. That is the work you're doing. Okay. Keep the pubic bone forward and keep your middle abs. Drop the upper body back one last time. Notice if your back pulls. Don't let the back pull. And pull with hands to bring heads up. Feel lats and serratus underneath here. Serratus running along the ribs with little muscles. That's a pull and head. Then ribs drop in. Then middle abs draw the middle back down. It should feel very long in your back, like a stretch. Okay, drop pubic bone back forward. Move the ball. Use middle abs and a little pressure in the feet to make a curved spine. And then just with pressure in the feet, lift hips. No squeezing glutes. And roll further forward. Now your ball is pretty well up the upper back, and if you drop your head back, it'll rest on the ball. Not just the head is on the ball. Your head stays, the face is facing the ceiling, but your head will meet the ball. Okay, then bring the head back in. So you got a pretty good curve now in your upper back. Hands on the head again to support the neck. And now it should be much easier. Let's push the bolster forward again, so you got space in the hips again. Should be much easier to move the hips. Okay. Drop the pubic bone forward again. Your whole back is pretty much off the mat here. And then pull middle abs down, bring middle abs to mat, or middle back to mat, and let it go. Do it again. Middle abs pull down, middle back comes to mat. Now keep your middle abs as you drop pubic bone forward. Imagine your purple ball there that you're rolling in on to keep your middle abs. Two more. Middle abs draw down. Then drop forward. Last one. Really get deep in those transverse abdominals. That's the point. We're turning that on. Drop it forward. Keep it there. Use the transverse abdominals to stabilize middle back. Open the ribs as you drop the head back over your red ball. Go ahead and reach the arms back behind the head. Inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to bring arms forward, chin to chest, ribs drop in, middle abs can start to draw, but don't bring middle back to the mat yet. Still stretching your back as your ribs drop in. Good. One more time, roll it back. Inhale, ribs open, middle abs stabilize pelvis. Exhale, arms come forward, don't throw them. Chin to the chest, shoulder blades slide forward this time as ribs pull back. Now use middle abs to pull middle back to the mat, feet going up. And then drop it back forward. Starting to feel it up. One more, use middle abs to pull middle back to the mat. And drop it back forward. Okay, let's add the ball for your last one. If you didn't feel it before, you should feel it with the ball. You can use a block for this. I just like the ball because it's kind of squishy and it's harder to close in on. Alright, elbows are forward, chin in. Keep the pubic bone forward when you open the ribs, but don't arc. It's just being stabilized by those middle abs. So you're pulling in on your ball, but keeping pubic bone forward to keep the middle abs engaged. Open ribs as you drop back. Inhale. drop ribs into the back body, keeping the pubic bone forward. Then pull middle abs, rolling in on your ball to bring it back to the ground. Then drop pubic bone forward separately. Keep your squeeze on the ball. Feel that pulls pubic bone forward, middle abs, and then drop the body back. Last one, inhale. Exhale, head comes up. Don't contract the whole core yet, just head comes. Then ribs drop separately. Then middle abs, pull the pubic bone to you. Keeping middle abs, keeping your squeeze on the ball, drop pubic bone back forward, and then drop the head back. Good. All right, let's get rid of the ball one last time. You're going to find middle abs to pull middle back down, make that open arc in the spine, lift the hips again. This time you're going to roll all the way forward until the ball is only under the head and neck, and you can't look up anymore without pushing the back of the head into the ball. Now the head is decidedly forward. Okay, so that ball is really just under the head and neck at this point. You're going to get your bolster under the feet, pull it up to your tailbone, and then pick up your hips, pull the bolster under the hips. Pretty hard to do makeshift props for this stuff. $100 bolster, Walmart ball is the best. All right, your upper back has to be touching the ground. Your chin has to be tucked in because of the ball, so your spine is nice and round in the thoracic spine. Your whole sacrum should be on the bolster. And then we're going to bring one leg in at a time. Arms up. Upper back has to touch the ground. If it ever leaves the ground during this sequence, you're going to crunch the low back. Let's grab your strap, the TheraBand. We're going to use the strong TheraBand for this. We're not trying to do resistance work. We're trying to hold up the legs. Legs are heavy, so you want the strong TheraBand. All right, to decide where your hands go, first just line up your TheraBand on your feet. Let it hang so it's even. Okay, and as far as bolster positioning, you want it as high as you can put it for the most part within reason without your upper back popping off the ground. Okay, then once you've got your strap hanging on the feet, you're going to reach the arms up as high as you can reach, and then slide your shoulder blades up the sides of the ribs, then grab wherever that gets you to. Squeeze with the hands, but not with the arms, and then let your shoulders drop back down toward the mat. That puts some pressure into the feet. Bring the feet forward so they're right over the hips, and put a soft bend in your knees so that your pubic bone can drop forward and your low back is long, hips feel like they're spreading across your bolster. Now, find those same transverse abdominals, deep middle abs we've been looking for. Index knuckle touching, but open your heels to try to open sitting bones and create a soft inner spiral in your legs. Start dropping the feet forward slowly. Don't lose the transverse abdominals. If your pelvic bowl pops up or your back pops up off the mat, you know you're crunching the back. Your job is to pull the abdominals back. No glute squeeze, no tucking the hips, then you're just pushing the strap forward from the low back. Let your shoulder blades slide forward, hands are strong, but arms are just soft. They're just getting pulled. Don't go any further than you can, still keeping those transverse abdominals, middle abs pulled. Then to come back up, lift the hands a little, just to start the movement, and then low belly draws. Keep pubic bone forward as legs come up. So that's that ball forward, but still squeezing in on the ball. Do it again. Drop it down. Inhale first, actually. Let's inhale here. Exhale, soft bend in the knees, back of the hips spreading across your bolster. Heels feel like they're reaching without pulling legs straight. So just heels past toes. And then drop it down with heels open. Low belly spreading. Try to open the whole foot now and spread your toes out too. Feel outer hips turn on a little bit. Low belly sucking back toward your face. Ribs in. If your head pops up or ribs pop up, that's not it. You'll need your ball too. Okay. Lift hands up a little bit once you're at your limit. Hands lift. Low belly starts pulling. Pubic bone stays forward. If you have to bend the knees to get there, bend the knees. If you're pushing and squeezing your glutes and tucking, you're going to feel this in your low back in a bad way. You want pubic bone forward. One more. Dropping the legs forward. Keep that low belly spreading across, heels open, toes working. Go to your limit. So if you can drop the feet all the way down and keep your upper back on the ground, you get a big stretch in the hips. But if you crunch your low back here, you're going to get a big compression in your spine, which is pretty much the opposite of what we're doing. Lift hands, suck the low belly, bring it back up. Okay, once you're all the way up, keep bringing this to you, but don't pull with the arms. Just let the arms hang. Elbows can bend. Knees can bend as much as you need to. Your back should be released here. You're letting the bolster push your hips forward. You're not tucking and lifting. That'll hurt. If you're real flexible in your back, you can let your legs drop all the way to the head. Or you can bend them and bring them outside the head and let them rest on the chest. Wherever you're at, you're just resting in your stretch. Lots of weight into your red ball. Don't try to pull off your red ball. Okay? And then we'll bring the legs back forward again. Feet right above hips, soft bend in your knees, pubic bone forward, low back spreading, and then start dropping the feet forward. Low belly stays pulled out of the front of the hips, getting length, supporting the back. No lift. You can lift your head if you want to when you come forward and strengthen the neck, front of the neck a little bit. But definitely I don't want to see the ribs lift and the back and pelvic bowl lift. Then you're just crunching the low back. All right, here we go. Left hand, suck low belly across, work the transverse abdominals. Okay, and then once you're all the way up, keeping heels open, toes active, bring the feet in toward the face, just releasing the back. Elbows are just hanging soft. Keep them in close though. Breathe. Let your back release here, ribs fall toward the floor. Soften the chest. Even the shoulders can hang up toward the ears a little bit. That's normal. Your hips are a little higher than shoulders, so they'll slide up the ribs toward ears. That's not your neck crunching. You're not using them. And then bring the legs back up. Let's add purple ball between the legs where the groin muscles are. And we're going to see if that helps you find your transverse abdominal. Reline up the hands, reach up, shoulder blades slide up as high as they can reach. Grab your strap, squeeze with hands, not the rest of the arm. Then put a soft bend in the knees, pubic bone forward, like you're pulling that purple ball down into the groin. Then heels a little past toes, heels open, maybe toes open too. Drop it forward, low belly pulling back. Keep rolling the groin muscle in and down. Keep the low belly. And then you're going to bring it back up slow. Hands left first, low belly squeezing. Pubic bone stays forward. No tucking. Keep pulling the ball down into your pelvic floor. And then legs come over. Keep pulling the ball down into your pelvic floor. Like tailbone's trying to stay forward a little. Breathe. Soften shoulders. And let it come back forward. When feet are over hips, soft bend the knees, spreading across low back. Drop your strap forward, squeezing on the ball, heels past toes, heels spreading. You may lift the head. If you get a little bit better at this and you want to counterbalance, you can lift the upper back, staying in this rounded shape, but not by popping it up and opening the chest. Bring it back up, hands lift, low belly sucks, and then bring your feet towards you, resting on your red ball. You can bend the knees as much as you want. Good, and then now let's get rid of the purple ball. And then you're going to bring your right leg out of the strap. Try to keep the strap flat on the left foot. And I want it to bunch up. Keep it under your toes too, so the toes are straight. Drop the right leg forward. Bring your left leg to you. And very softly pull on the strap. Turn your left pinky toe to the left. And then suck your low belly down. Bring your left leg out to the left. Don't push hard into your strap, but don't let the leg collapse either. This isn't about the left leg, it's going to be about the right. Put your left elbow on the floor. Your right arm is still holding onto the right strap. It's reaching across your chest. Roll your left shoulder head forward. Let your right shoulder head roll a little forward to help drop your ribs a little deeper into the back body. The right toes are spreading a little bit, reaching through that inner foot. A little soft pressure in the back of the neck into the ball will help you reach your hip further forward. Breathe. As you exhale, keep both shoulders softly rolled forward, ribs close a little. Feel that right hip opening, right where the pelvic bowl is, down into psoas, down into the serratorius, front of the hip. Spread the toes a little more. Lift the right leg off the mat, bring it to the left, across your center line. Lift it up enough to feel that low belly pull in, and then inner spiral it. And then outer spiral, bring it back to the right. And then cross your center line the other way. Bring the right leg all the way out into a split. Roll through the hip. And roll it back forward. Feel the low belly. And back to your starting point. Both shoulder heads roll forward. Inhale. As you exhale, natural breath, soft pressure in head, ribs drop as hip reaches. Spread the toes. Good. And bend the knee. Bring it back up. Switch feet. Bring the right foot into your strap. Right foot comes towards you, left leg lengthens forward first. Couple breaths here. Inhale. As you exhale, feel ribs soften in. Keep a soft pull on the right foot, but then reach through the left foot, pushing a little bit into the back of the neck, ribs sucking up out of the front of the hip, low belly, transverse abdominals pulling up. Bring the right leg out to the right. right. Don't stiffen it as hard as you can into the strap, but don't let it collapse either if you're hyperflexible or if you're very flexible. Just a little soft bend. Right elbow in the mat. Try to make that up about as high as your shoulder. Roll that right shoulder head forward and let your left shoulder head roll forward. Arm is softened across your chest. Inhale. As you exhale, ribs drop in a little deeper behind the pelvic bowl, stretching through the front of the hip, the front of the pelvic bowl, maybe even up into the ribs. Inhale again. As you exhale, both shoulder heads roll forward, ribs drop back, push into the head a little to reach the whole pelvic bowl forward on that left side. One more breath. Lift the leg a little bit, bring it across your center line to the right. Roll in, inner spiraling the leg. Pull your low belly and lift the leg as high as you have to be able to do that. And then bring it back to the left outer spiral as you cross your center line. I'll go over you, bring it out to the side. Roll through the hip until you've outer spiraled and you're sitting in your stretch. And then roll it back forward. Inner spiraling, reach through the toes, spread them out. Feel that low belly pulling in and up out of the front of the hip. And then you can bend the knee to bring the leg up, kind of bending it out to the side if you want to protect the front of the hip, or you can pull with low belly to bring it up as you bring the right leg in. Good. Let's take the left foot into the strap. This time, right leg dropping forward. You're going to take the straps into your right hand and slide up the straps toward your body, or maybe you consider that down the straps away from your foot, so you have little tails in your hand instead of a big tail. Then you're going to put your right elbow into the mat or into your bolster, wherever you can reach, or you may need to put a block there. Let your foot drop forward, so it's not at a 90-degree angle, it drops. This is much longer than that. Then, elbow rests on the mat, drop the foot across your center line to the right. So the other leg is extended, yep, and the foot goes across the body. Keeping the foot across the body, reach the other arm overhead, push softly into your red ball. Try to lengthen that left hip forward. At the same time, left foot, don't let it sickle, turn the toes out. Should feel the stretch through the hip. Breathe. Reach through the bottom leg, inner spiral that to feel your low belly and reach it long. You can lift it if you want to make it a little deeper. And let the bottom leg drop. Good. Bend the knee, pull it in, choke up on your straps, and take your right hand and put it all the way up to the straps, holding on with the thumb wrapped around it. Pull your foot to the top of the right hip and see if you can drop that left knee forward. So half lotus. Okay, so you got the top of the foot coming up toward the front of the hip and then drop the knee forward. A pretty big stretch. Pulling in on straps with elbows bent out to the sides. Okay, if that's not a problem and you want to go further, you can tent the right knee. Keep dropping the left leg forward. Reach your left arm overhead. Breathe. Open the toes of that left foot. Think about wrapping them around the right leg. And pinky side of the foot pushing down instead of letting your foot sickle. Right? And then drop the knee away from that. At the same time, try to lift and pull your low belly back to you. Either stay here as you breathe, or if you want to go one step further, you can bring the left knee in, the right knee in, left hand goes to right knee. Let that drop forward to pull your left shoulder up and drop the knee down further, twisting the ribs to the right. So you bring bottom leg up to opposite hand, hold the knee in your hand, shoulder blade across, ribs go right as knee drops forward. So it's a twist. And the back up. Lengthen it back out again. And bring the leg up. Foot comes to the ceiling. Check in with your bolster and your ball. They like to slide around. Keep bolster up under the hips. Keep ball under the head. We're almost done with that. And you're just out under there. That feels good. Alright, and put your other foot into your strap. You're now going to hold the strap in your left hand. Left leg out extended. Slide down the straps away from the foot. So you have baby tails in your hand. You'll decide how much that is. The leg drops forward. You should still feel the weight in the hand. Palm faces up. You're bending with bicep to hold the leg up. Elbow rests on something. Either your bolster or the ground. That's your leverage to pull. Your elbow pushing down helps you pull. Then drop the leg across the body. So your hips pretty far forward still. Okay, once you've got the leg dropped across the body, bring your arm overhead, push softly into the head, and it'll help you drop the hip further forward. Still not stretching the front of the right hip. And the back possibly too. Further over you go. Breathe. Follow the foot sickle. Keep your toes active and turned out. Let's inner spiral the bottom leg. Maybe you can even lift it without crunching your low back. Don't do that if you feel any crunch in your low back. Let it go. Keep pulling that foot across the body, keeping it low. That'll start bringing it more to the back of the hip. Elbow in the mat, palm facing up. There you go. That's it. So as you pull up with the bicep, your elbow gets pushed down. It's an efficient alignment. Okay. Then pull the leg in, bending the knee. You're going to choke up on your strap like you're pulling in. Put the top of the foot right where the leg meets the pelvis, and then roll the knee forward. Open your toe. Don't let the foot sickle. Keep the pinky side of the foot long. One straight line from big toe to knee, and drop that knee forward in your half lotus. The higher you get the foot up, the more you drop the knee forward without sickling the foot, the bigger the stretch will be. Okay? If you want to drop the leg forward, reach the arm overhead. Breathe. Inhale, breath here. You can also hug around your ball. It feels like it's slipping. You want to be able to release better in the hip. If you want to go further, you can bend the left knee up. Try to drop the right leg even further forward. Think of your left shoulder coming down, pushing your ribs a little bit across to the right to really lengthen that right side more. And if you want to go even a little bit further or just a little different, you can find a twist by reaching your right hand up to your left kneecap. Keep the right knee dropped forward and twist your ribs left. So you use the leverage of the hand on the knee, pull with the lat to help you twist. Keep dropping the right knee forward. Spread the toes of the left foot and the right foot. And come back to the middle, drop arm overhead, leg out in front, maybe hop around the ball, reaching the elbow, reaching the knee. Push to the back of the head to reach hip, and bring it back up. Good. And let's get rid of the strap. Get rid of the red ball. Yay. Yay. That's good. Now at this point to lay the upper back flat on the mat. Pull your bolster up higher. It should be under the ribs, the floating ribs, and all the way down to the tailbone. It shouldn't be so high that your tailbone can fall off the front. It should definitely support the tailbone, but you do want part of it at least under the floating ribs. Okay? And you should be able to put your elbows on the top of it and try to slide shoulder blades down away from ears, engaging the lats and serratus, all the muscles underneath here. And that little downward pressure should push your tailbone long and support and help the low belly pull and pubic bone to you. Bring one leg in at a time. Arms inside the legs, hands underneath the heels. Cup the heels. Okay, if you can't quite reach your heels, a lot of people stay stiff in their low back. Gotta let the back release. Let the back round here without sucking and pulling. Okay. Once you have the heels, turn the feet out. Elbows push out to the sides to open the knees a little bit more. Let your back release. Let the upper body control the lower body for the most part. Elbows pushing out, chin down, neck long. Let go of the right leg. Drop the right leg forward, right arm overhead. And just like you were doing with your red ball, you're going to very softly push into the back of the neck, back of the ribs, and lengthen the hip forward. If your leg's way up here in the air, it's because you haven't made space between the pelvic bowl and the ribs yet. You've got to reach that further forward. Breathe. Keep your left elbow bent from the bicep. The heel is reaching into the palm of the hand. The palm of the hand is pulling back on the heel. That is your leverage to pull and hold while the other leg reaches away. Roll your left shoulder head forward. It'll even lift off the mat a little bit. Elbow into the back of the leg helps you with that. And then try to push your ribs across the body to the right and reach your right arm up a little further. Keep reaching through the left foot. Don't let the knee bend too far. Spread the right toes out. Let's bring the right leg across the midline to the left. Go should deepen the stretch in the hip. Bring it back across, roll through the hip and bring it out to the right. Okay, take the right hand to the groin, push it forward a little bit. Tip over toward the right hip and spread the legs apart in this little cockeyed split. Inhale. Exhale, low belly spreading across. Try to spread and point the toes. Slide that right leg in, arm comes all the way inside the leg up to the elbow, then turn around, hold on to the heel. Spread across the upper body, just spread the hips out, so shoulder blades wide. Let go of that left leg, drop it forward. Okay. Let the right hip come a little bit, heel up, not down, up to the ceiling, and let your hips drop forward a little, pulling a little bit with that right arm to help that happen. You want length here from the hip. Little pressure in the back of the neck will help you reach through the hips. Pressure from this elbow into the leg. Right elbow into the leg will help roll that right shoulder head up and forward, dropping ribs down, and then left a little bit will help you reach the leg further out of the hip. Let's try to bring the leg across center line to the right. Go a lot through here. Bring it back to the center, roll up and over as you bring it out to the left. You're going to outer spiral the leg, which we don't often do. So heel face the ceiling, toes face the floor. And then use your left hand to push the groin a little forward. Your pubic bone should be rolling towards you because of the pressure from the bolster. Push forward a little. Pull with your left shoulder blade, left arm to bring the leg up and forward. Then pull groin muscles apart with the strength of lats. Breathe. As you exhale, sink your low belly. Let your low back spread and your hips spread across your orange bolster. Let it go, that low belly muscle we've been working. Pull out of the front of your left hip. And bring it back in, sliding the arm inside the leg, up behind elbow, turn it over, hold heel. Okay, try to pull the knees toward the mat, softly turning the feet out. Knees don't have to touch by any means. This is mostly to release and stretch low back. So don't tuck to try to get there, and certainly don't pull the low back forward. Just low body is release, upper body is controlling low body. Okay, now use your upper body, pull shoulders down, away from ears, pull feet a little forward to put low back down, and then drop ribs in, reach feet up against hands. Good, and let that go. Hands come onto the top of the feet like regular happy baby hold. Now all 5 fingers together, turn the feet out. Heels reach up a little, toes down. Pull on that outer arch of your foot to help turn the feet out and spread the metatarsals. Let go of the right leg, a little more linear. Right arm up, right leg forward, just reach long on that right side. Little pressure into the back of the neck gets you longer. Inhale. Exhale, let your right arm rest now. Soften right chest, soften the ribs, and you'll start to feel the low belly a little bit more, pulling back out of the front of the right hip. Bring it back in. Left side, hold on to the right foot. Elbow and shin connect, keep the foot turned out. So you really want to feel elbow and shin connect with some force. And you're pulling down with bicep and with the shoulder blade, the lat. Reaching the left leg forward, you push into the back of the head a little bit, very soft, don't lift the chin. Crunch the neck as long as it drops down. And then reach it first, and then let go of that left arm reaching, let it drop. Inhale. Soften the chest. The more you soften the chest and the pecs, let the ribs sink a little bit, the more you'll be able to start to feel the muscle right inside the pelvic bowl. So as the ball is pulling up and lengthening out of the hip from the inside. Spread and reach through the toes. Bring the leg back in. Very nice. Let's bring the soles of the feet together like Baddha Konasana. Hold ankles with your fingers. Drop the knees forward and open. Let the weight of your low body pull your shoulders down away from ears. Chin down, neck is long. Inhale. Roll shoulders back, let ribs open. Exhale, roll shoulders forward, ribs dropping. Good, hips more room to drop. One more like that. Inhale, shoulders back, ribs open. Exhale, follow your collarbone, roll shoulders in. Ribs drop. And then pull the knees in. Bring the hands to the knees. Fingers face in. You're cupping the kneecap. Don't get greedy. Try to get your wrist up there. Trust the strength in the hand. Drop the knees open. And then weight of the low body drops forward. Make sure your bolster's high enough for this. Your tailbone's not quite off the front, but it's pretty close. You don't want to crunch the low back, but we do want the weight of the low body to be able to hang you forward a little. And the corner of your bolster should be pushing ribs up just a touch. Okay, roll shoulders back, open ribs, inhale, feet are soft. As you exhale, roll shoulders forward, drop ribs, but then let the hips drop further into the hands. All the weight of the hips is in your hands. If I let go of the legs, they'll fall. Okay. Inhale again, roll shoulders back, ribs open. Outer spiral arms. Exhale, inner spiral arms, shoulder heads roll in. Chin down, ribs in. One more. Inhale, roll shoulders back, open ribs, outer spiral arms. Exhale, roll shoulders forward, arms roll in, hips get to drop further as ribs close. Good. Shift over toward the left hip. You'll bring the right knee up a little, left foot drops forward, and you're going to let that shoulder blade slide as far down the left side as you can. The left foot drops down toward the mat. That foot dropping toward the mat makes a little inner spiral in the leg. You should feel a stretch in the outer hip. Suck your low belly in on the left side. Pull your ribs across to the right a little bit. Breathe. Toes aiming down. Pull back in with the strength of the arm. Let the right leg drop further forward. Let that shoulder really drop down. Give the hip room. The foot swings out to the side and drops toward the mat. Try to make a 90-degree angle from the upper to lower leg there. Keep that foot dropping. And pull it back. And one more each side. Drop left foot out. Let it drop down toward the mat. Low belly pulls back across to the right. And switch. Okay, bring the legs back in. One foot at a time comes down to the mat. Just to finish off the hips, heel toe the feet apart. Little bit of pressure from elbows into the top of the bolster. Make sure it is still high enough so you can push down. Serratus and shoulder blade pulling down like this to help you keep tailbone pressed on. That's going to protect your low back on the next one, so make sure you've got that. Okay, once feet are wide, drop both knees in, but keep that little pressure from elbows. Suck your low belly in, open the toes. Outer foot's trying to face the ceiling with inner foot trying to be flush with the floor. Low belly drawing out of the front of the hips as knees reach forward. Drop the right knee down a little further than the left. And then like two magnets pushing each other away. The left knee's going to drop, but you're not going to pull the right knee up. It'll just get pushed out of the way as the left knee drops in. And then switch. Go back and forth slowly between those. Again, don't lift the leg that's moving out of the way. Just drop the other leg. As you keep moving through this, when the right leg is dropping, start feeling that left low belly we've been working on, finding lift back to pull the hip back. Just real soft. Just keep trying to feel right inside the pelvic bowl. It's a tough place to find. And let's end with the right leg forward. Heel toe your left foot in. Drop the knee out to the side and just release your glute. Keep a little pressure through the elbows to keep the low back supported and the tailbone long, lumbar spine flatter. And then suck low belly in as you try to drop the knee further down. Keep lifting outer foot. Maybe that's enough. You should start to feel front and back of the hip in this stretch. If it's not enough, you want to go further, cross your left ankle over your right knee. Let the left leg drop, but keep the foot active, hooking around the knee and holding on. The weight of that leg should help you pull the knee down. Suck your low belly in a little bit. Keep some pressure in the elbows to help support the low back. Inhale. As you exhale, close your ribs in. Keep exhaling for as long as you can. Hold the ribs, but then try to let the hip release away. Further forward. It may help you feel the muscle you're stretching to lift the right knee up into the left foot while pulling down with the left foot. Suck your low belly up, and then let that go. One more. Inhale. Exhale, soften chest, drop ribs. Feel the core muscles there and drop the knee further forward. Right arm can come above your head if you've got this. Left elbow can push a little to bring your ribs across to the right. Left elbow pushing into your bolster and into the mat. Lifting left shoulder, rolling it forward to take your ribs further right. That may help deepen the stretch. Keep the outer right foot lifted and bring it back. Uncross the left leg. Push into the elbows. Low belly draws a little. Roll that right knee back up. Heel toe it in. And then heel toe the left foot wide. Okay, we have mirrors on the ceiling here, which is helpful, but you're trying to make a 90-degree angle from the upper to lower leg when you're dropping that knee in. And the knee is right in line with the left side, just inside the left shoulder, basically line up the left collarbone. Keep that knee dropped down, heel toe the right foot in. Drop that knee down, just totally release the right glute, let that foot just release, that whole side release. A little pressure through elbows to support the low back. Find your low belly drawing a little. Keep the outer left foot lifted and try to drop the knee further forward and down. You should be feeling a stretch in the hip. No crunching the low back. Keep that long, elbows helping. Inhale. Exhale, softly dropping ribs in. Try to close your ribs. Holding that, drop the knee further down, opening hip. Hard to only keep ribs closed without the hip tucking up to meet it. If your knee lifts, you know you've just clumped it all together. Okay, if you feel like you want more, cross the right ankle over the left knee. Hook the foot around it. Really active foot, but then release glute and the rest of the leg. That's the hard part, keeping the foot active while releasing the right hip and glute. Keep your left foot active. A little pressure on elbows to support low back. Inhale long but soft. Let your ribs open. And then exhale, little shoulder heads forward, a little drop ribs in. But then let the knee drop further forward. Ribs pulling one way, hip going the other way. Inhale again. Exhale, roll shoulders forward, drop ribs in soft. Let the knee drop further forward. If you've got this and you want to go further, bring your left arm overhead, keep it soft. Right elbow pushing, bring your ribs left by rolling right shoulder head right and really pushing the right elbow to bring ribs left. Inhale. So you've got this sort of diagonal happening. Ribs going across to the left, left knee going in and down to the right. Drop the ribs in. Let the hip go. And uncross the leg, take the weight off. Bring the arm in and slowly roll that leg back up. Good. Hips should be pretty awake. Heel turn the feet in. Let's push your bolster down until it's just under the tip of your tailbone. Little curve in your low back when you bend the knees in. This should just help release and hang out the low back. You should have felt the stretch in the back of the hips there. No crunching in the low back. If you do it wrong, you get just the opposite. You close the low back and close the back of the hips. Hold on to knees separately and open them out to the sides. Maybe elbows can touch the ground. If they can't, let them hang to wherever they do. Okay, and then if you want to roll through the hips, try to do so keeping them separate. You just spend a decent amount of time trying to separate them. Don't glue them together and stay stiff as you roll. Keep them separate, let them be loose and free. So part of keeping them separate is kind of dropping one forward as the others drop back. Think of each one making its own circle instead of circling together. Okay, and then bring the knees back. Good, you can bring your feet up. If you know you have a plow practice, you can just try to pull the feet over your head and come all the way up and over. If you don't have an easy plow practice, bring your bolster back under your back as high as you can get it. Once you've got your bolster literally as high up the back as you can get it, put your elbows on your bolster. Okay? And then you're going to just hold the thighs, or you can push the back of the hips if you're there. Wherever you're at, inhale. Exhale, close your ribs in and make space by reaching the pubic bone up to the ceiling. And then just release that, let your back go. Suck the ribs back out of the way and softly push the hips a little further. Keep the knees bent. Everybody, even if you have a plow practice, bend your knees in next to your head. Let your back release more. And then roll back down toward the bolster. Bend the knees in. And just hold the tops of the knees wherever your bolster keeps you. Let your feet drop, let your hips drop. Totally release. Good, everybody totally release. This time come and do it differently. Bring the legs up, bring your hands to the backs of the legs. You may not lift into plow, that's fine, just stay with me. Bring the legs forward without straightening them fully by lining up your forearm with your calves as much as you can. Squeeze in on your own legs with your elbows. Suck your ribs down into your bolster. That action, without your hips doing anything, will start lifting the hips. Once the ribs suck down, just pull with hands in a little bit and just push on the feet just a touch. If the ribs really suck down the way, hips just tip up and over. Low back stays released. If you have a full plow practice, you can walk your shoulders under you more. You can either interlace fingers, pull back, push into the bolster, or you can reach arms up. Low belly. Still trying to draw pubic bone to the ceiling. Maybe you want to reach one leg up at a time or both. Inner spiral legs. Pubic bone forward, toes spreading, ribs in. And bring it back down. Other leg leading if you do one at a time. Good. And then start rolling down through the hips, nice and slow. Hips come to your bolster. Let's keep the right leg in, hold inner and outer arch of the foot. You can bend the knee as much as you need to. Drop your left leg forward. So you're holding the right leg to protect the back. Drop the left leg off the mat. Good. And then low belly draws and pull on the right foot a little to help left leg come up without just using hip flexors. Use low belly. Hold inner and outer arch of left foot. If you've got a pretty deep stretch in your hamstrings, you can keep the leg straighter, but keep the hip plugging forward. So peeky out to the side a little. Think of outer spiraling to bring the hip down and drop the right leg forward. Breathe. Flex the foot, heel reaching a little. And bring it back up. Very nice. Push your bolster all the way back down again to the tip of the tailbone. And let the knees drop open. Maybe make a circle or two. And just let your low back release. Then push your bolster all the way down so it's just under your calves. Toes are going to hang out to the sides. Groin muscles facing the ceiling, inner thigh facing the ceiling, pinky toes heavy, ball of the foot heavy, inner feet open. You can army crawl the shoulders a little further away, up the mat a little bit and apart. And then arms up, chin down, palms facing in, spread fingers, inhale. Let the ribs open, and then as you exhale, think of sucking in with the hands on an imaginary block. Reach the shoulder blades up, ribs pulling down without tucking hips. Let your shoulders drop down, ribs open, inhale. Exhale, start by sliding shoulder blades up, then feel ribs drop without sucking hips. Low body's pretty much dead right now, not using it. Let shoulders drop, ribs open, inhale. Shoulders push softly down into the mat to lift ribs. And then exhale, shoulders start sliding up, ribs dropping. No tucking. Okay, let's try to add a little bit of low body. Grab your purple ball, put it in the groin. Roll the legs in toward each other. Try to feel the groin muscles engage. Inhale here. As you exhale, start closing ribs a little bit. Roll in on the purple ball. Feel your low belly suck down as your ribs close. Good. And then release your squeeze on the purple ball. Let arms drop. Let ribs open. Inhale. Exhale. Roll the shoulders up. Ribs close. Roll in on the ball. Release the shoulders back down. Roll the legs open. Drop your arms back. Okay, a little more engagement. We're going to turn around a little bit. Palms facing in. Inhale. Ribs open. Exhale, close the ribs, reach for the ceiling. Roll in on your ball. Keep the pubic going forward. Inhale, drop it back, roll out away from ball. Exhale, close ribs, bring it up. Roll in on your ball. Inhale, drop it back, ribs open, roll out. Exhale, close ribs, roll in on the ball. And drop it back out. Good. Get rid of your purple ball. Roll it up. Okay, pull your bolster back a little bit. Put the soles of the feet on the bolster in Baddha Konasana. Hips are pretty far back behind you. About maybe 1.5 to 2 feet between the bolster and your pubic bone. Sitting bones are apart on the mat. You can manually pull them apart. Elbows plug the shins down. Hold on to the handles on your bolster. Pin your elbows out to the side. Pull your bolster to your chest and your chest to the bolster. Roll your shoulder heads forward. Let your head drop in line with the spine. Breathe. Open your toes, but keep the ball of the foot touching. If that's easy, you can bring your arms to the front of the bolster and pull in a little bit more.
That's great. Mary, that's pretty.
Find your breath. Shoulders draw back a little, ribs suck up as you come forward. On your next inhale, feel like your feet are pushing the bolster forward, low belly sucking back, doming the back. And then go the other way. Pull back with your lats serratus, shoulder blades come down, ribs stay in the body but pull forward. And then let the bolster go. Roll it up. Okay. Let's keep your left foot across your bolster. Bring the right foot forward. Slide your right sitting bone further forward so you're diagonally aimed toward the corner of your bolster. Okay? One straight line from toe to knee in the left foot. Come over your bolster. Elbows over the shin, and try to keep your body square to your own shin as you come forward. Maybe you can get the elbows all the way to the front of the bolster and pull back. So pigeon, but a littler version of it. Okay, if that's easy for you in the hip and you want to go further, you can bring the right leg back. Kind of like cheerleader pose, just knee behind you. Or you can bring it all the way back to full pigeon. Come up and over. Okay, so wherever you want to be. You do come all the way back, you tuck the back toes and roll the hip under, maybe bring the foot off the bolster and keep grabbing it into the bolster to drop down. Whatever you got today, find your breath. Pick your ribs up into the back of the body, then pull back with elbows, drag your ribs forward and down. Do it again, pick the ribs up, drag back with elbows, bring them forward and down. One more time, pick the ribs up. Drag back with elbows, bring ribs forward and down. Then try to pin your left elbow against your left knee and bring your ribs across to the right, away from that knee. So left elbow pins knee in place, ribs go across to the right. You can also use your right hand to pin the left foot in place if your foot's up that high. And come back to the center. Bring the foot around and switch. Right foot across your bolster. turn toward the right corner of your bolster. Make one line from knee to big toe and come forward over that. Keep trying to work your left sitting bone forward. That may be enough, that stretch. Pull on your bolster to get some leverage, to basically fold that shin toward your ribs toward the shin. Okay? Try to stay a little bit less toward the knee and a little bit more toward the foot. There you go, that's the stretch. Good. Okay, then we're going to pin the elbow and knee together and bring your ribs away from the right knee. Think of sucking the ribs up into the back body, across away from the knee, and then back forward again. Do that again. Come over to the right side, pick your ribs up away from the knee, bring them across to the left, and then back forward again. Should be starting to open the hip a little bit more. If you want to go deeper, take the leg back either to here, and just spread the knee out and try to come further forward by spreading knee. Or if you want to go all the way back, tuck the toes under, work that knee under you, foot comes into parallel, and maybe the foot even comes off, but keep the toes opening into the bolster. That's going to help you. If the foot does drop off to the inside of the bolster, let it, but push in on the bolster. Okay? And then elbow pinning knee. Bring it across to the left with your ribs. And if you want a deeper stretch, you can keep the foot all the way up on the bolster. Pin the foot there, and bring your ribs across that way. All right, let's go to the right. Pick ribs up into the back body, pushing down through elbows. Bring your ribs over to the left, and then back forward and down again. Good. And roll out of it onto the right hip. Bring the foot back around if you had it back. Okay, let's take Baddhasana without the bolster. Soles of the feet together. This time bring it a little shorter. Elbows in front of the shins. Don't hamper the toes. Keep your hands on the feet under the toes if you're going to hold the feet. Elbows in front of shins. Drop your head. Roll your shoulder heads forward like your collarbone is hollowing. Keep the head drop. Feet push the mat forward a little. Low belly sucks back, knees open. Knees, elbows to pin, knees open. Then go the other way. Put elbows in front of shins. Pull back with your shoulders and try to drag your ribs longer forward. Good. Inhale. As you inhale, open toes. Keep balls of the feet together. Heels press into each other. Suck your low belly back. Feet push the mat forward. Knees open. And then as you exhale, use that low belly helping lengthen. Pull back with your lats serrated. Elbows against shins. Lengthening further forward. Reach your arms out in front. Depending on the length of this position, you put your chin in front of the feet. If your hips are back far enough, chin coming to the front of the feet can help you get leverage to lengthen the spine more. Elbows can help you lengthen. And then roll it back up. Bring the knees together. And let's flip it over. Grab two blocks to the top of the mat. Walk the knees pretty far back on your mat. Hands stay on your blocks. Blocks on third level if you know you've got a pretty good shoulder stretch. Maybe you're going to start right out on second level if you don't have a deep shoulder stretch. Okay, keeping the blocks really far in front of you, knees pretty far back, like you can barely hold. You're going to keep your arms, elbows hugging in a little bit so shoulders are spiraled out. Drop your head down through the arms. Maybe the blocks will even tip back a little bit. Pubic bone pulling back. Pelvic bowl dropping. Your head has to touch something. Either the ground or another block under the forehead, or you need to come down to second level with your blocks. Elbows hugging and breathe. Keep the elbows bent, armpits coming toward the mat. Now suck your low belly back a little bit and reach your blocks forward. Chin in a touch. Inhale. As you exhale, bring your head an inch further back on your mat. And then drop your belly, drop your chin. Try to make a bigger upper back bend. Inhale, arms reach forward, low belly reaching back. Exhale. Release. Try to lift your feet up off the mat. Point the toes, curl them in. And then bring them back out. Spread your toes, turn the feet out heavy. Drop your pelvic bowl deeper. Feel your low belly suck away from the front of the quads. And then let that go. Keep that low belly engagement as you drop. And then push into your hand. Push down with your lats, hug elbows in, pick the ribs up into the back of the shoulder blades round. Chin in, shoulders pulling back, low belly sucking up, ribs in, and then release out. One more time. Inhale, round it up, ribs up, and then drop it down. Good. Bring it up, walk it forward. Bring your right foot forward, outside your right blocks, turn it out about 45 degrees. Bend the knee out to the side, elbows hugging in, drop into your stretch. Try to keep a lot of weight in the foot. You're really leaning over to the right to drop pelvic bowl further out to the side, elbows hugging in. Breathe. Hips all the way forward. Bring your left block right under left shoulder, stiff arm it. Let your ribs and hips drop and hang out of that side. Your shoulder will get driven up to the ear, but that's okay. It's not the neck engaging, it's gravity pulling hip and ribs down. You should feel a switch in the side. Now see if you can keep that stretch when you have both blocks straight, elbows hug in. Let your shoulders get lifted a little as ribs drop. Push into your right foot. Bring the right sitting bone back instead of pulling with upper back. And when you come forward, think of ribs coming further forward and down, deeper into that stretch. If you want to add weight, you can tuck back toes and reach the back foot back. Keep dropping down. Elbows are in like chaturanga. Breathe. Push into the hands to bring it up. Push into the right leg, turn toes in. Push into the back foot. Drop your left hip forward. Right hip hugging back, lean right a little. Right shoulder up. Think of arcing your body left. And then straighten it back out, open the left hip. Drop it forward. And come back down. Switch legs. Right leg back, left leg forward, turn the toes out. Think of pulling back with your shoulder blades to bring the ribs forward, hips back. Lots of weight in your left foot, bring it all the way forward and down. Drop into your stretch. Left knee is open, left pelvic bowl is dropping out to the side. Right shoulder can come down a little. Push your ribs left, left shoulder a little forward. And we open up that left side. Open the left toes. Lift and spread them, keeping ball of the foot on the ground. And bring them back down, opening hip. Bring it back to the middle, straighten right arm, stiff arm it. Let your ribs and hip hang on that right side. We're really getting a Sabo stretch. Try to keep that length. Even up your blocks again. Elbows hug in, but let your ribs and hip hang still. Then pushing the hands a little, shoulders forward, bring ribs back, like that, and then open it up. You want to go deeper, tuck the back toes, reach through the back leg. And bring it back down to sit one. Push through the left foot, bring left sitting bone back. A little, you don't have to go too far. Pull ribs forward, feel like the mat is plugging the knee and the hip back as you come back forward and down. And now you can tuck toes and add lift in your back knee if you want to deepen that stretch. Elbows hug in. Front leg pressing to bring the hip back. Keep pressing into the back foot. Turn your toes in a little bit. Drop your right hip forward. Left hip hugs back like you're really opening the left side. Right shoulder down, a little left shoulder forward. Pushing into the right toes. And realign the body. Open the right hip more. And roll your right hip forward. Lots of weight comes into the left foot. Weight stays left. Hug your left hip back from low belly. Push into the left foot to roll the right hip open. And we'll end with it forward. Turn your left toes out again. Keep ribs drawing forward, shoulders pulling back. Bend the left knee out to the side. Drop deep into that stretch. And then put the back leg down. And bring it back. Put blocks flat on your mat. Line them up so they're even with each other. And turn it around. Last exercise before your corpse. Or I should say sequence. Alright, last sequence of exercises. Okay, so you're going to put all 5 fingers on your blocks facing forward. Try to get the thumb wrapped around the inside of the block and the pinky wrapped around the outside of the block. Okay, every time you use blocks. Okay, a little bend in the elbows, feet flat, pretty close to hips. Push into your hands, pick your butt up, bring tailbone to heels. And get your tailbone further under you as well. So you're not sitting up on top of sitting bones and tailbone. Those 3 points, you got the tailbone rolled all the way under. And you can't really drag to get there because that pins your tailbone back. So you have to actually lift up and bring it under you. Your shoulder heads are going to roll forward. Pretty good shoulder stretch. The hands are active. Push into the knuckles of the hands. Without lifting the base of the wrist, try to spread your fingers out on your blocks more. Engaging the hand. Keep shoulder heads rolled forward, elbows wide, chin in. Then try to let the ribs round back further. A little pressure with feet will help suck low belly back, bring pelvic bowl back to drop ribs further back. But you don't wrap the shoulders back and make the spine long. You're rounding the upper back. Okay? So make sure the glutes aren't squeezing, the hips aren't trying to hold your weight up. Drop the pubic bone forward. And then roll it back, low belly in. Think of having your purple bowl there. When you drop pubic bone forward, keep the low belly. And then middle abs, low belly drawing as you come back. Do it again. When you drop forward, keep the legs in a little bit. And then roll back. Good. Now keeping shoulder heads forward, push through hands to come up. All the way to straight arms. Base of the hand may lift. That's a pretty extreme angle on the wrist. That should be a big hand stretch, forearm stretch. Roll to the top of the sitting bones separately. All the way to sitting bones, not tailbone anymore. Then roll shoulder heads back to lift and open ribs. Big stretch in forearms and wrists. Middle abs suck up. Then shoulder heads roll forward, ribs back, hips rolling back. Little pressure with feet. Bend the elbows, keep your chin in, shoulder heads forward, elbows pull wide. Hands feel like they're screwing in toward the thumb side of the hand. Pinky getting caught on the outside of the block, holding there. Try that again, chin in. Push through the hands, keep your middle abs. All the way to straight arms, then separately roll on sitting bones. And shoulders roll back. Shoulder blades feel like they're picking ribs up, middle abs sucking up. And then shoulders roll forward, hips and ribs roll back, chin in. Elbows feel like they're pulling wide, and settle in back there. Maybe pull from hand to hand a little. Pull the right shoulder blade to the right more. Pull the left shoulder blade to the left more. Hand feels like it's pulling in on the blocks. Then pull them both. Both hands roll in, elbows wide. Using the hands, keeping weight in the hands, come across to the right with your ribs. Slide the ribs right like a typewriter, sliding parallel with the pelvic bowl. Then knees drop left. It's a twist. Ribs right, left hand pushing your right, knees left. Cross your left ankle halfway down the right shin, and softly pull across further in the twist. Keep right hip coming to right heel, left hand pushing and pulling ribs back. Right elbow back. Breathe. Uncross the leg, get out of the weight bearing, come back. Keep the shoulder heads forward, push into the hands to come up again. All the way till you get that hand stretch. Roll onto the top of the sitting bones. Shoulder blades pick up the ribs. And then shoulders roll forward, hips roll back, middle abs sucking, bend elbows out to the side. Second side, hands press, shoulder head staying, and this elbow feels like it's pulling back and left as you take your ribs left. Just feel that stretch coming through here a little bit, and in the shoulder obviously. Then drop the knees across to the right, lifting the outer foot. It's a twist, so ribs are left, knees are right. Cross right leg, right ankle halfway down, and then very softly pull across. Think of that left hip coming toward the left heel as your left ribs drop in and back away. Really opening those two up. Inhale. Exhale very softly, draw ribs in as you twist and keep it going forward. And uncross the leg, bring it back up. Push all the way through the hands. This time come up onto fingers. You can take a little weight out of it with the hips. Calculate how much stretch you put into the hand. Roll all the way up. Turn the fingers to face backwards now. Okay, roll the shoulder heads forward. Bend the elbows a little. Bring your feet close to hips. And you bring your tailbone a little further forward and further under you again. Okay. If it's too much with the blocks, you can do this with hands on the floor. Roll shoulder heads forward. Now you should feel like your weight is very much in the thumb knuckle of the hand. Low belly sucking back, ribs sucking back. Imagine your purple ball in the groin to squeeze in on. Then let's test the hips. Make sure they're separate. Roll pubic bone forward. And then low belly draws to roll it back. When you roll the pubic bone forward, keep that low belly. Don't let it be in your low back. Make sure feet are not far enough forward so that you've got room to move your hips. Further forward, and wider too. Open the feet at least hip width. Okay, last one. Notice if you push your feet a little bit, just real soft, don't squeeze your glutes, just a little pressure in the feet like you're sliding that forward. It helps you keep the low belly pelvic bowl back, and then roll shoulder heads forward against that, and it helps you open the back, upper back and the ribs more. Elbows wide. Good, now push into the hands until arms are straight. Keeping shoulder heads forward, try to slide the back of the neck longer, shoulder blades sliding down the ribs. Then roll to the top of the sitting bones. Outer spiral arms roll shoulder heads back. Shoulder blades come under ribs. Maybe you can even bend elbows in if you've outer spiraled enough. Re-straighten arms, roll shoulder heads forward, ribs back, hips back. Bend your elbows back. Feel like you're pulling the blocks toward you to pull your ribs back out of the low back. Big stretch in the shoulders. Bring your ribs over to the right, pushing with left hand. Pick up the right foot, knees go left. Cross ankle over the shin if you want to add that twist. Hip to heel, heel to hip, left hand pushing to bring ribs right, right elbow reaching back. Uncross. Go the other way, ribs left. Left shoulder head is still forward even though the elbow's reaching wide. Lots of pressure in left thumb knuckle. Knees go right. Right leg crosses over left to pull it across, hip to heel. And bring it back. Last one, push into the hands to come up. Once the arms are straight, shoulder blades slide down, top of the head reaching forward. Roll onto the sitting bones. Shoulder blades under ribs, all open the chest. And then roll it back forward. Good job. Bring hands to the mat. Tuck the fingers in. Don't tuck your fingers all the way so that your nails will dig into your hand. Just keep fingers flat. Keep wrists flat. Maybe you have this, maybe you don't. Either way, keep wrists flat and just think shoulder heads forward, slouch like you're on the beach. And then just push out of that, keeping shoulder heads forward. Not rolling back. See if you can keep shoulder heads forward, slouch. Slide shoulder blades down, ribs, keep the head forward. Just feel that feeling by being able to move through your shoulder girdle in a little different way. Keep shoulder heads forward the entire time. Keep them forward, without rolling back. Good. Okay. Now add the rolling back, roll onto the sitting bones and open the chest. Should feel a lot easier here. And then roll back forward, ribs back, hips back. Good, we're going to add some weight bearing to that. If you think you got it, you're going to bring your feet back. Low belly in, shoulder heads start forward, hips come up, roll the shoulder heads back, open the ribs, roll shoulder heads forward, ribs back, bring hips back. We'll just do one more. Low belly and hips come forward. Reach through the knees a little, roll the shoulder heads back, no glute squeeze, open ribs, but keep the hips low, tailbone under by low belly pulling. Shoulder heads come forward, ribs in, lengthening low back, bring hips back. Good. So just bring the hands forward, staff, and slide your fingers forward, just bending the elbows back toward the ground, counter stretching the fingers. You're stretching the hands, so bending fingers behind palm, stretching hand, elbows low, maybe even elbows on the mat. Okay, but certainly trying to bring them to parallel, shoulders hanging, low belly sucking back. Different than the wrist stretch where you're trying to make this angle look cute. You can roll back and forth between those if you want. Stretch your hands out. Good. Okay, let's bring hips forward. Move your toys off your mat.
Yay.
Yay. Lay flat on your mat. And actually, let's use your orange bolster for this. Put your orange bolster under the lower legs. Make sure your feet are dangling in the air. Try to have the bolster run a good majority of the length of your calves, so it's kind of behind the knees. Legs turn out, low belly sucking back, roll it down. Tailbone is long. You can sort of army crawl your ribs further up the mat. Try to bring the, or you can push elbows down and just pick ribs up and bring them back. You're trying to make some space in the lumbar spine. Palms facing up, feet turned out. Inhale, long hips off. Hold that air in, and then exhale, just let it leak out slowly. Feel the natural recoil in the ribs as the ribcage depressor muscles hug in. Inhale again, long but soft. Feel your eyes roll into the back of the head a little bit, soften the jawline as you let the air release. Feel your collarbone soften and your chest fall. Okay, we're going to do a short body scan. Try to feel your feet heavy as they hang off the bolster, pinky side of the foot heavy toward the ground more than the inner foot. Toes are all released. Try to feel like there's space between each of your toes. Ball of the foot open and spreading, arch of the foot long as the foot hangs. Feel space in the heel and coming into the ankle joint. Feel a deep compression there as the feet hang. Muscles in the lower legs released and hanging off the bone, spreading across the bolster. Space in the knee joint in all directions, 360 degrees of space. Try to feel the muscles in the upper leg loose, released away from the femur, soft and hanging off the bone. Start to feel the muscles in the front of the hips soften a little bit. Sitting bones are released apart, glutes are soft. Back of the hips heavy. Inhale again. soft but long breath, and then as you exhale, try to only feel a little sinking in your low belly, away from the front of the hips, into a soft, open low back, open sitting bones, open back of the hips. Inhaling again. Start to feel those middle abs we tried to turn on today. As you exhale, very softly roll your shoulder heads forward, concaving the chest, letting the back ribs feel heavier and then release that. Inhaling again, feel the same thing without having to roll shoulders in. Soft chest, heavy back ribs. Try to feel the muscles in the throat, the front of the neck, and the sides of the neck release. The muscles in the shoulders, the deltoids, anterior flexor medial, the whole shoulder release. Space in the shoulder joint, and also in the clavicle, the collarbone. Try to feel that have space between it and the ribs. Muscles in the upper arms release, hanging off the bow. Elbows heavy in the mat, a little bit of space across the joint. Muscles in your forearms spreading across the neck. Feel there being space in the wrists, like the hand is floating away from and disconnected from your forearm. A heavy marble in the palm of the hand, weighing hand down, fingers soft. Inhale long but soft. On this exhale, let the air leak out. Feel the sternum falling, collarbone loose. Eyes roll into the back of the forehead, into the middle of the forehead where the third eye lives. Feel it spreading across the brow, across the bridge of the nose, as facial muscles release. Feel it spreading across the base of the tongue where it attaches into the skull. And across the jawline between the ears, behind the base of the skull. Inhale again. All the same things. Release. Couple breaths like that. Staying soft and hold the air in. As you exhale, feel the ribs soften down and start to exhale a little stronger, just barely feeling ribs close harder and the belly sinking. Don't compress ribs and hips toward each other. Do it again. Inhale longer. Let's open hands, open and spread toes. Bring the arms up. Keep that breath in. Reach overhead. And then exhale, close fist, point toes, roll the legs all the way in toward each other. And open hands, turn feet out, inhale. Ribs open, but low belly still anchors. Exhale, roll in, feet pointing, toes roll in, hand squeeze. And then let it go. And everything down. Okay. You can either tuck knees and roll over to one side, stacking ribs and hips, and make your way to sitting that way. Or if you'd rather, you can reintegrate the body, bringing the arms forward, chin to the chest, pulling the ribs back, and rolling up. And then just fold over your orange bolster for a second, dropping your head. Breathe. Stretch the hamstrings, you can lift the outer foot, pulling them up. Maybe walk the sitting bones apart and back. Drag ribs forward while you drag hips back on the mat. Shoulder blades pulling back. Low belly drawing in, inner spiraling legs spreading. And if you want to be done now, you're welcome to, or you can stay and we'll do one. You're going to sit on something if you have any issue at all with your pelvic roll staying forward without tension. That extra height keeps your spine long and makes your breath easy. So this isn't supposed to be a deep stretch. We want to keep this all lined up so the breath is easy. Okay, if you don't have any problem with stretching in the hips, you may focus more on your secure base, which is what the lotus posture is for. It's supposed to keep you really strong and grounded, so you feel like you're sitting into this. If it's too tight, it just pushes you back. And you can't breath. Okay, same spiel every time, but it's long, soft inhale. Let your ribs open. Hold the breath at the top. Jaw comes forward to start with an ah sound, then go to ooh, releasing facial muscles. Save enough breath for the to vibrate through your core. As you're completely closing your ribs, exhaling all the air out when you're empty, try to lift pelvic floor and open the ribs back up again, and then you'll sort of gasp for air again. Here we go. Long, soft.